All right, let's jump right into a really powerful and honestly kind of counterintuitive idea about what it takes to get massive growth. This is a concept that completely flips the script on everything you think you know about hard work.
So let me ask you a question that, well, it's going to sound a little crazy. What if 10x growth was actually easier than 2x growth? I know, it sounds impossible, right? But stick with me, because the secret to that kind of exponential leap isn't about working harder, it's about thinking in a totally different way.
And this really lays it out perfectly. You've got two paths. On one hand, there's the 2x path. We all know this one. It's the grind, it's just more effort, more complexity, and you know where that leads? Burnout. But then there's the 10x path. This is different. This is a leap. And it doesn't take more effort, it takes more courage. But the payoff? So much more clarity and honestly, a feeling of liberation. So here's the absolute heart of the matter. The secret to making that 10x jump, it's not some new business strategy. It's not a productivity hack. It has nothing to do with what you do. It's all about who you become. Okay, so if it's about who you become, how do you actually do that? Well, it all starts with your future self's identity. Think about it this way. The person you are right now, you're perfectly wired to get the results you're currently getting. If you want wildly different 10x results, your identity has to evolve. It's non-negotiable. And yeah, that sounds kind of dramatic, I know. Old identities must die. But it's true. To build the future you want, you have to let go of the old self-concepts that got you to where you are today. In fact, those very identities, they're not just outdated. They're the anchor holding you back. Just look at Dan Martell's story. He called his old identity the firefighter. You know the type, right? The person whose whole value comes from heroically swooping in to solve a crisis. But he realized that to really scale, he couldn't be the guy with the hose anymore. He had to become the person who builds systems that the fires never even start. Or how about this one from Alex Hormozi? He had to kill his identity as the operator. And I love this line, competence becomes a cage. He realized being the best at the work was actually trapping him. The real game changer, the path to massive scale, wasn't to be the machine, but to build the machine. And then you've got Tony Fadell, the guy behind the iPod and Nest. Even he had to go through this. He had to let go of being the guy who knows everything. He learned that at the highest level, your job isn't to have all the answers. Your real job is to ask the questions that unlock the answers in everyone else. This quote from Tony Robbins just nails it. He says, your identity is like a thermostat for your life. Think about that. If your internal thermostat is set to, say, 70 degrees, and a 90-degree opportunity comes along, you will literally, subconsciously, find a way to cool things down. You'll sabotage it because it doesn't match who you believe you are. So if changing your identity is the goal, where do you even start? This leads us to our next big idea, the 80% elimination rule. And this is another one of those things that just feels backwards. Real growth, the 10x kind, doesn't come from adding more stuff to your to-do list. It comes from subtraction. I mean, this chart says it all, doesn't it? A huge chunk of what we do every day, like 80% of it, is just noise. It makes us feel busy, sure, but it doesn't actually create results. The magic, the 10x leap, happens when you find the courage to ruthlessly focus only on that tiny 20% slice that actually matters. So what exactly is this 80% noise? Well, you know what it is. It's those pointless meetings. It's the busy work we do just to prove we're useful. It's creating complicated systems that only we understand so we feel indispensable. It's doing work that, frankly, someone else could do. And maybe the biggest one of all, it's the emotional junk, the fear, the guilt, the obligations that keep you playing small. Okay, but if it's just noise, why is it so ridiculously hard to let go of? It's because that noise is comfortable. It's safe. Our brains are wired for survival, and that means we will always prefer a predictable suffering over an unpredictable freedom. Letting go feels like stepping off a cliff, even if the ground below is better. Now, once you start cutting out that 80%, you create space. And the key is what you fill that space with. This brings us to the next pillar, scaling with who, not how. This is the big shift where you finally realize your future isn't going to be built by your own two hands. It's going to be built by a team, a network. And it all comes down to changing the most fundamental question you ask yourself. You have to stop asking, how can I do this? And start asking, who can do this for me? See, how traps you. It makes you the bottleneck. But who sets you free? It turns you from a player into the coach. And just to be super clear, this isn't just about delegating tasks. It's a massive internal shift. You have to go from needing control to truly offering trust. You have to move from protecting your ego to being obsessed with the outcome, no matter who gets it done. That's the real journey from how to who.
And let's be honest about the stakes here. They couldn't be higher. The cost of staying stuck as the how person, well, it's your entire future. You become the lid on your own potential. It's a guaranteed recipe for burnout, stagnation, and watching everyone else fly past you.
So when you put all these pieces together, shedding that old identity, ruthlessly eliminating the 80% noise, and fully embracing who, not how, you get to what we can call the leap to liberation. And this is the point where you finally get it. 10x isn't just a bigger number on a spreadsheet. It's a totally different reality. Look, if there's one thing you remember from all this, let it be this right here. Getting to 2x, that just takes more effort, more grind, more hours. But getting to 10x, that takes something completely different. It takes courage. The courage to let go of the person you are today, to make room for the person you need to become. See, at the end of the day, you have to understand, 10x isn't a strategy. It's a liberation from your past self. It's the freedom that comes when you finally stop defending who you used to be and you go all in on becoming who you're meant to be. And I want to leave you with this incredible thought from Dr. Benjamin Hardy. Your future is not something you step into, it's someone you become. So the real question you should be asking yourself isn't, what do I need to do to get 10x results? The real question is, who do I need to become?